The PMI Talent Triangle. The Project Management Institute have developed this so-called talent triangle. The three sides of the triangle represent three areas of skill that a project manager needs. Technical project management refers to what you are most familiar with in the project management arena, and that is things like preparing a schedule, a program, and tracking progress, preparing a budget and a cost estimates, preparing a quality control plan, doing risk assessments, etc., 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 managing quality. Leadership is all the soft skills, your leadership skills of people, and well, it's not all soft skills, but a lot of that is soft skills. It's people skills, and it's leading and managing people. And then strategic and business management is a small section that involves things like lining up making sure your project aligns with the strategic objectives of the organization. It's quite an exciting way of thinking this that opens one's mind up, that managing our projects is not just limited to me, Andrew Holden, thinking about my little project, but actually I need to have a broad understanding of the organization I'm working in and of the company's operations in order to be able to make sure that my project is relevant, and in order to be able to network with the right people. And even beyond that, outside the organization, to understand the marketplace. There could be things in the marketplace that might affect the feasibility of my project. And I could come back to the sponsor and say, hey, listen, because of what's imminent and happening in the market, we need to make a slight adjustment on this project to really meet the strategic objectives of the organization. Just being aware of all of those kinds of things, the bigger picture. And you recall the very first slide I referred to, I showed you this morning, had domain 1, domain 2, and domain 3 on it. The new exam, that PMP exam that starts on the 1st of January next year, these are the three domains. Technical project management is your project management processes and tools and techniques and documents, and that is domain 1. It's actually domain 2. Leadership is domain 1, and strategic and business management is domain 3. Domain 2, the technical project management, is 50% of the new exam. Leadership, domain 1, is 42%, and the other 8% is domain 3, strategic and business management. So it's 50%, 42%, and 8%. Those are the three domains. If I talk about the domains later on, that's what I'm referring to. Okay, I'm going to go through a few things briefly to wrap up the section to do with the role of the project manager performing integration. So integration is a fancy word that's think of it as coordination. One of the first knowledge area of the PMBOK is integration management. It's coordinating every single aspect of your project. It's leading the project team and coordinating their efforts. It's coordinating the other 9 knowledge areas of the PMBOK: scope, time, cost, quality, and so on. It's coordinating, integrating your project with other stakeholders in the organization. Integration, coordination, like a jigsaw puzzle, making sure everything fits together. So the integration role of a project manager is integrating your project, aligning it with the objectives of the program and the portfolio, and hence with the strategic objectives of your organization. And that is part of this domain 3 at the bottom of the talent triangle, strategic and business management. Then we have coordination of multiple project processes. So there are some processes that occur once only, for example, initial creation of the charter, and some that reoccur, such as processing change requests. And this falls under technical and leadership skills. So that's coordinating multiple processes, which is a skill that a project manager needs. Then there's integration at the cognitive level. That simply refers to the thinking level. So project managers should select the best way to manage a project based on its size and complexity, the complexity of your organization and the culture of your organization. And this is not something that can just be taught. This is something that comes with experience. To do this, a project manager needs experience. It needs a lot of intuition. It needs leadership skills, which relates to the leadership side of the talent triangle. Skill in the 10 knowledge areas, technical skills, the technical side of the talent triangle. And perceptiveness, intuition, being perceptive to the situation. And what is the best approach to managing a project? There's no one way of managing a project. There are various different approaches to managing it, all of which could work, some of it which might be better than the others. And that's part of the interest folk of being a project manager, is applying your experience, your perception, your intuition, and so on, in order to work out the best way to manage this project and to find your pathway through all the challenges that you have, and to reach the end goal that you're wanting to reach, which is so satisfying when you go to bed at night, or when you drive past that facility with your kids and saying, I built that, that's mine. I was a project manager on that job, and we had this challenge and that challenge and that challenge. Yeah, Dad, you told us about that 10 times. Then there's integration at the context level. So that is saying, what is the context of our projects? Project managers should be aware of the project context. So here are a few examples. The New World Order and BRICS. BRICS is the nations Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. This might affect markets, which in turn could affect your organization and have an impact on projects. New technologies, such as internet expansion and social networks like Facebook. Internet expansion, so that's because of internet expansion, there are internet-based project management tools that are becoming more and more widely used, such as cloud storage. Glenn mentioned that as one of his, their infrastructure, or collaboration tools, such as Trello boards. Anyone here heard of Trello boards? A lovely tool that you can use with virtual teams for lists of tasks that need to be managed, and many other internet tools that are available. Then there's multicultural dynamics and working with different cultures, virtual teaming, and these are both relating to the leadership side of the talent triangle, and new values of the millennial generation, which the older people need to understand and manage. And finally, integration and complexity. There's a picture of an incredibly complex ceiling from a building. I think that's what it is. Complexity is a subjective human experience when confronted with detail, ambiguity, uncertainty, unpredictability, dynamics, social structure, and interrelationships. You don't need to memorize that for the exam, don't worry. But it's just the idea of where there is complexity in managing projects, that's where we come in as project managers to manage that complexity. Whether your projects are complex or small and simple, doesn't matter. Your project management knowledge, skills, and use of tools and techniques, your leadership skills, your business acumen for the strategic and business management are needed.